Hi everyone, it's Carrie, and I'm going to have sort of just a candid conversation with you today. I normally will take a few notes before I start making a video so that I can stay somewhat focused and on track, but today I felt like just sort of talking with you as though we were just sitting down and shooting the breeze. And what I want to talk with you about is this concept I've been feeling a lot in my own experience lately, and from what I can ascertain working with my clients lately and just talking to people in my life, I don't think I'm alone in this. This seems to be something that's happening to a lot of us, and I'm calling it feeling spiritually thin. This is the sort of terminology that makes sense within my own head for what I've been experiencing lately. At the beginning of the year, I drew cards for each of my months to kind of give me an idea of energies to look out for the year ahead. And for June, my card was the Six of Swords. So I've been thinking a lot about this card lately and how this card serves as sort of an illustration of what I think about when I think about feeling spiritually thin. I think that the Six of Swords to me shows this sensation of almost reeling. It's kind of the sensation that happens when you experience some type of blow in your life, whatever that might be. It doesn't have to be an actual physical blow, but I suppose it could be. But I'm thinking more about when you have a fight with somebody, or when you go through some kind of creative setback, or anything that happens to you that just makes you sort of feel taken aback for a moment, and then there's a process that happens after that blow where you're sort of trying to find solid ground again. As I'm filming this, it's June of 2016, and there have been several big pieces of news this month that have felt almost like a collective blow, even for, I think, a lot of us who weren't personally impacted by these things. We're still experiencing the energetic impact, and we're going through that Six of Swords sensation, trying to recover, trying to heal. In the Rider-Waite depiction of the Six of Swords, we have these figures on the boat, and the figures are sort of huddled, and there's this feeling upon looking at the imagery that something major has just happened, something that has left these individuals feeling as though they are spiritually thin. They are trying to regain a sense of self. They are trying to navigate what feels like I guess, to be quite literal, a sense of floating instead of a sense of feeling firm and feeling spiritually strengthened. It's this sense of feeling stretched. The blow has already happened. This difficult situation, the thick of the action has already transpired. And now we are in the place where we are trying to integrate and process what we have gone through in the thick of that battle, or that metaphorical battle, I guess we could say. And when I look particularly at the figure in the boat huddled up in the cloak, it really speaks to me of this sensation of feeling spiritually thin. So what do I actually mean when I talk about feeling spiritually thin? It seems to be in my experience that when things are going relatively well, and when we're keeping up with our spiritual practices, whatever those may look like for us as individuals, we build up this resiliency, and we build up, I guess, what we could refer to as spiritual strength. When we go through something difficult, again, when we go through a metaphorical battle, it can start to feel like it's sort of chipping away at the resiliency that we have built up. And even if we have continuously immersed ourselves in consistent spiritual practices to try to remain solid and grounded, I think that there's times for all of us, just by the nature of being human, that we feel like we're left reeling after something, and we have that sensation of being spiritually thin and feeling like we are the ones huddled up on this boat, moving forward slowly, but feeling like we're no longer where we were, and we're maybe not quite certain where this boat is going to take us. It's appropriate to consider that the preceding card is the Five of Swords, which almost shows a direct illustration of that battle and that impact and that situation that we are now in the Six of Swords, trying to process, trying to integrate, and trying to come back to a sense of spiritual strength. And this might sound kind of silly, but I went to see Finding Dory this month, and I quite enjoyed Finding Nemo. Great, fantastic movie. So when I was thinking about all of this sensation of being spiritually thin, and when I was considering what this Six of Swords energy has looked like in my life this month, I was trying to come up with some kind of message, some kind of mantra, or something that could be a way for us to latch our mind onto a message of hope when we experience this sense of feeling spiritually thin. And I thought of Dory's famous song, Just Keep Swimming. It's a really apt phrase for this energy of being spiritually thin and this Six of Swords experience of being on water and moving forward and not quite being sure where the destination lies, but knowing that the only option that we have is to try to just keep swimming. I know that I'm not delivering this message in the most cohesive way, and again, that's because, as I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't really have a plan for this. I just kind of started talking, but I felt that this was something important to speak about because I've made a couple of videos and blog posts in the past where I've talked about more difficult sides of the human experience, and I've opened up a little bit and let myself be somewhat vulnerable about the things that I've struggled with, and I've often found that people resonate with that message. And I think it's important for us to have conversations about the fact that we do go through difficult experiences as human beings, and we're not alone in that. If you're going through a period of feeling spiritually thin, it is okay. And as the famous saying goes, this too shall pass, so just keep swimming. And on that note, I guess one of the last things I was thinking about is that the Six of Swords is a card from the Minor Arcana in the tarot deck. And one thing that people often associate with these minor arcana cards is that they do represent sort of day-to-day energies, things that are more fleeting in the overall sense of our life. But sometimes when you're immersed in that sensation of being spiritually thin, it can feel like it's going to last forever. So as I just said a moment ago, one thing that's useful for me is to remind myself that the Six of Swords sensation is not somewhere that I'm going to set up camp permanently. It's somewhere that I am visiting. It's something that I am passing through. It's something that I am floating on by. And so I try to let myself be okay with that, and I try to let myself learn from that experience. I'm sending so much love to all of you because I know that the world always needs more love, and that there are many of us who this month have been feeling somewhat spiritually thin. So we are all in this together. Thank you so much for being here with me. Your time is very valuable and meaningful to me, so I appreciate you checking out my video. And I will talk to you guys before too long, so take care of your wonderful self. Bye.